Hello and welcome to my Hungarian Grand Prix driver predictions. The series in which you guys, the audience, can get involved. Following that link in the top line of the description, you'll be asked some numerous questions which we'll briefly go over in a little bit to get entered into the Audience Prediction Championships. So without further ado, let us jump on into the Hungarian Grand Prix predictions, the race before the 4-week summer break. And let's briefly go over exactly how this series works. By following that link in the top line of the description, you'll be asked for your top 5 for qualifying, your top 5 for the race on Sunday, and then a bold statement regarding anything, absolutely anything to do with the weekends. That could be practice, that could be qualifying, that could be the race, it could be the whole lot. Now there is a small little point scoring system for each of these entries. You will score yourself 2 points for a correct driver in the correct position for your top 5, and then you'll receive 1 point if you had the correct driver but in the incorrect position in your top 5 for qualifying. Exactly the same point scoring is then given for the top 5 for the race, and then 5 bonus points is given to the bold statement if it is accurate. Of course, there is going to be lots of leeway and everything is all marked by myself. So let's briefly just go over the current leaderboards at the moment. It is still Evan Darcy that leads by just 10 points. The gap is slowly closing. A Doctor Who channel is then in 3rd place, and then myself and Arturo Salazar are joint on 122. We then have a bunch of other performers such as Scott Hilland, Divot Rayhan, Archie, Elian, Gear Down Aviation. We then have a bunch of other entrants, for example Scott Hilland, Divot Rayhan, Leroy, Minion023, Archie, Elian, Nick Clark Williams, Kit BM, AB Baby, Kevin, Harry Scott, and also Callum. And of course there is a second leaderboard. We have 119 individual entrants. We have people like Chewbacca in there from the Star Wars universe, Mika Tuckinen, Dan Claver, Josh H as well. Now, not to worry if you see yourself fairly low down on this leaderboard, as this is the summated leaderboard, so the number of points that you earn in the Grand Prix get added up for each of the races. Now, obviously, the people that have entered more races are going to score more points in this leaderboard. However, in the videos that I release on Sunday, I will be producing an average points for the rounds that you have entered leaderboards, and if you see yourself high up in that leaderboard, you know you are doing extremely well. So with all of that out of the way, let us jump on into my predictions, and we'll start with my top 5 for qualifying. For pole position for the Hungarian Grand Prix, I've gone for Max Verstappen. And P2 joining him on the front row, title rival Lewis Hamilton. Valtteri Bottas P3, Charles Leclerc P4, and Sergio Perez down in P5. I genuinely think this qualifying is going to be so close between Verstappen and Hamilton. We have Red Bull, that is definitely the fastest car this season. Not by much, but definitely the faster and the better package. And their car suits Hungary. They would have won Hungary 2019 had Mercedes not pulled off a master strategy. Their car just suits the Hungarian track. Mercedes, not so much. They do slightly struggle, but Lewis Hamilton, he loves this track. A bajillion pole positions, a bajillion race wins. It is absolutely ridiculous the records he has at this track. So expect them to be uber close and in a class of their own. Then I just think Valtteri Bottas is going to put in another one of those extremely strong performances, and he is going to be very close, probably within 1/10 of a second of Lewis Hamilton. The Ferraris look absolutely incredible, and they are secretly playing down their strengths heading into this Hungarian Grand Prix, which every time they have done that, they have ended up really overperforming. And then Sergio Perez down in P5, I just think he might struggle just a wee bit. As we have seen, the average gap between Verstappen and Perez in qualifying sometimes exceeds 0.6, and on average it sits currently at around half a second. But from the qualifying top 5, we will now take a look at the race top 5. And for victory at the Hungarian Grand Prix, I've gone for Valtteri Bottas. Joining him on the podium in P2, Sergio Perez, followed by Charles Leclerc, Lando Norris, and Carlos Sainz. Now, I'm fairly sure you can see where this is going already, but I do think that Valtteri Bottas is going to claim a victory, mainly because I think there's going to be one pretty hectic incident. Sergio Perez, I just think, is going to have the slightly faster race pace over the Ferrari of Charles Leclerc, who will perform better in qualifying, and then the McLaren of Lando Norris, who is just having a stellar season, is going to again outperform that McLaren and be P4, just ahead of Carlos Sainz, with Daniel Ricciardo probably in that mix, maybe P6, maybe P7, who knows. Fernando Alonso could be up there as well, but I don't think they can quite break the top 5. And this leads me perfectly into my bold statement: Verstappen and Hamilton to crash. And also emphasis on myself, crash and DNF. That is the specifics of this bold statement. Not just clash into each other and take each other off and go wide a little bit and ruin each other's races. I mean crash and DNF. Their rivalry is boiling, and some could say it's already boiled over with the incident in Silverstone last week. Red Bull are reviewing the penalty, or at least have exercised their right to review, and are allegedly bringing brand new evidence that was not seen last week to the stewards this Thursday. And genuinely, if there is a harsher penalty that is given, that's just going to turn everything extremely sour. Taking away a Hamilton home victory, ooh, that's gonna fuel the fire in Mercedes if they manage to actually get that through. If Red Bull are remotely successful with this right to review, that's gonna be exceptional. This is gonna spice up the season a lot. And I do think that both drivers just being in an absolute class of their own at this track. One car being exceptional and one driver just absolutely adoring this circuit. And I think all of that, along with the incident that happened at Silverstone just 2 weeks ago, is going to lead to calamity. I don't think it's going to be lap 1. I don't even think it's going to be right at the very end. It'll be somewhere during the Grand Prix, but I think that both drivers will DNF because they come together. But there we go, there are my predictions for the Hungarian Grand Prix that will be happening this weekend. Make sure to follow the link in the description down below to submit your guys' predictions. But that is all I've got for you today, guys. I hope you have enjoyed, and I will catch you in the next episode with whatever and whenever I decide to make it. I'll see you guys then.